ladies and gentlemen, after Dr. Ajay Charangu gave us a bit of a history and gave us some geopolitical perspective about this particular place, and then now Mr. Jagmohan has told us about the marginalization of the Jammu region and the domination and the various issues to their aspects. Now we will turn towards Colonel Satish Lalhotra, who is a native of the soil but served outside Jammu for a long time. So, Sir Lalhotra, can I request you to sort of put a sort of a broad light on what are the challenges as far as the leadership issues in Jammu are concerned? And if we fundamentally agree to go in for a statehood for Jammu region, are we ready for that? Do we have the adequate and a competent leadership to take us to that place and thereafter run our affairs to the satisfaction of the people of Jammu, as has been conveyed by Mr. Jagmohan Sharma? So, Colonel Lalhotra, please.
Good evening, sir. At the very outset, let me convey my thanks to you for inviting me to such a platform where such a august gathering of speakers already accumulated here.
Colonel Lalhotra, can you switch off one of your devices? Your voice is echoing on two devices, so one can be switched off.
Just a minute, sir. Okay, I'll broadly come down to the basics of statehood of Jammu. There are basically three challenges which are basically facing us. First is basically the political challenge, the social challenge, and the economic challenge. Now, before that, I proceed for the political challenge. Let me tell how exactly we DOGRAS missed the bus. Number one, there is no credible leadership of DOGRAS at the state level or at the central level to take up the cudgels for the statehood of Jammu. I'll explain you how. Initially, during independence, in fact, before that, Pandit Premnath Dogra and Balraj Madhok, who were basically stalwarts of BJP and who started this Praja Parishad and Ek Pradhan Ek Nishan agitation in 1952, they in fact were basically the standard bearers for carrying forward the legacy of statehood of Jammu. Reason being that immediately after Dr. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee's death in 1953, that should have been basically the ominous bells which should have started ringing in their ears. Look, if this is the state of affairs which Jammu is going to bear, then it's better that we part ways with Kashmir. But we missed the bus. Second opportunity came in 1956 when the State Reorganization Committee took place. All the states in the country were basically going on linguistic basis. Why did we keep quiet? Why couldn't these Dogra leaders of that time could put their viewpoint, look, on the basis of linguistic aspirations, we should be basically forming part separate from Kashmir, and we don't have anything in common with Kashmir. I'm being very frank and forthright. So that's the second time we missed the bus. Anyway, now coming to the political challenge as such, the biggest challenge which we are facing now is the unity. Are we united enough to pose a united front for a Jammu statehood? We are not. Like my previous worthy speaker told, that there's a lot of infighting. How do we reduce that? Because the first step basically begins from that only. Unless we reduce our infighting, we will not be able to project a united front for statehood of Jammu. Number two is, how do we convince the majority of Jammu population of the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A? This is another biggest political challenge, which in case Jammu statehood comes into being, we have to convince the local population of Jammu. Because till now, the local population of Jammu, they were basically afflicted by a sense of xenophobia, sense fear of outsiders. How do we remove the fear of outsiders? This is one of the biggest challenges which political dispensation of Jammu, in case if at all Jammu comes into being, has to be removed, the fear of outsiders, that is xenophobia. Thirdly, the political challenge for the state of Jammu will be that the unequal or the imbalance which has been the order of the day since the time of inception of JNK. Have we been able to project this imbalance? I'll be very frank and forthright that one of our Dogra leaders, Mr. Ghazalal Dogra, who was finance minister for good about 26 years, imagine in Dr. Sheikh Abdullah's cabinet, failed to do anything for Jammu. Why can't you do this? Imagine for 26 years. So these are the groundswell of things which will convince us that we have been always short shifted by Kashmiris. Why couldn't we come out of the shadow of Kashmir people? This will be one of the biggest challenges again facing the Dogra leadership if at all Jammu comes into play. I'm just trying to list out the political challenges because in the initial only stages I have told that there are basically three challenges which are basically facing the state of Jammu. That is political challenge, social challenge, and economic challenge. I am dwelling upon the political challenge. Thereafter, the next challenge will be for the next challenge for the political leadership in Jammu will be to prepare the second rung of leadership in Jammu so that if at all Jammu comes into being, these people they're able to take up the cudgels even at the center and at the state level, which unfortunately I don't find anybody. We hardly have any representation at the central level, except for Mr. Dr. Arun Jaitley, who is no more now. He had some connection with JNK. Otherwise, there is hardly anybody which we can say at the center who can take up the case of Jammu and project. Look, we are the people who have been marginalized for good about 70 years. So this will be again one of the biggest political challenges which will be facing the local leaders of Jammu to make a second rung of leadership in Jammu. Now I'll dwell upon the economic challenges, the biggest challenge of all the three challenges. The economic challenge is the biggest challenge. What economic model do we have in front of us to project Jammu as a statehood? We all are aware that the entire Jammu region, starting from Lakhanpur right till Kishtwar and all, it's basically mountainous area, Kandi area, with hardly any irrigation facilities. There's no industry worth the name. The agriculture is nominal. The irrigation system is in shambles. So how do we prop up that? Now, we don't have much of industries. We don't have much of entrepreneurs. So the aim is to have some entrepreneurship development in Jammu. But for that, you require capital. From where will the capital come? This is one of the biggest economic challenges which will be facing the people of Jammu if at all Jammu comes into play. Then another challenge for economic development of statehood of Jammu will be that I find most of the people, because often on I keep on visiting Jammu, I find that most of the people, most of the youngsters, they hanker for government jobs. Why government jobs? Why can't you produce your own jobs? Where is the where is the fillip for doing entrepreneurship? Why can't we think on those lines? This will be again one of the biggest economic challenges which will be facing the statehood of Jammu. And for that, all the local population, including the local leaders, they'll have to sit together, they have to put their head together and think on those lines. Another biggest economic challenge which statehood of Jammu and which I am going to quote with an example will be that imagine Kathua, the gateway of Jammu from JNK, gateway of JNK from Punjab side and gateway to Punjab from JNK side is in shambles. We hardly have 110 industries. Now, if you try to compare the same Kathua with Baddi, which is in Himachal, which is the gateway of Himachal for Punjab, imagine Baddi is one of the largest pharma hubs in Asia. Baddi has got 3,120 industries, which major pharma industries like Dr. Reddy's Lab, Cipla, Pfizer, everything. And imagine Baddi has employed about 50% of workforce of Himachal. Half of revenue of Himachal is being produced by Baddi. And that is also gateway of Himachal. Can we compare Kathua with that? Half of the industries of Kathua, they are lying sick. Why can't we do anything for that? I mean, this will be again one of the biggest economic challenges which will be faced by the local leadership in case Jammu comes into being. Now, the other problem which will be basically faced as a part of economic challenge will be the poor infrastructure which is prevalent in Jammu. I remember about 3 years back when I was posted in BD Badi in 92 Infantry Brigade. To my horror, I found that most of the roads in the industrial area of Badi Brahman and Birpur, they were in shambles. There was only one road. Imagine such a big industrial area, only one road, and that too in shambles. And I remember I met the president of BBIA, that is Bari Brahma Industrial Association chief also, and I told him, why can't you do anything about this? I said, what can I do? I have been given 101 representation to the JNK government that time. I'm talking of 2015-16, but despite my so many representations, nothing is happening on ground. I mean, this will be one of the biggest challenges which will be faced by the local population and the local leaders in case state comes into being, that how do we revive economic growth of Jammu. Then is the shortage of power, which everybody is aware. Despite being bestowed with the best of natural resources in the country, we still are deficient. We still go with the begging bowl. Sorry for using this word for the power to the center. Why so? You take the case of Himachal. Just take their example. In fact, they are surplus, and that surplus electricity is being given to the northern grid. Whereas if you see, we are much more richer as compared to Himachal as far as natural resources are concerned. Half of our power projects, they are lying in limbo. Why? Why they are lying in limbo? But if you try to compare the same thing with Himachal, they are progressing by leaps and bounds. I mean, these are certain challenges which I feel should be basically addressed by the local population of Jammu, by the local dispensation of the Jammu, by local leaders of Jammu, in case, if at all, we want to see that statehood of Jammu sees the light of the day. Unless these things are given their due thought and due importance, I don't think anything much will be happening on ground. Reason being, every time when I go to JNK, I find that the things don't move. Whatever they were there about 5 years back, the same things are there. So I feel that unless these three challenges, that is economic challenge, political challenge, and social challenge, they're addressed in a holistic manner, we will be just roaming around in circles, and we will not be able to convince the center. Look, we have been short-shifted for the last 73 years. Economically, though, like politically, we are down. And imagine, despite that, nothing much is happening on ground. Now, what you call very urgent appeal to the listeners out here is, do we have any practical solution for this, for these three challenges? I mean, my point is that unless we sit together, we put our heads together and find some tangible solutions to these three challenges, I'm afraid the statehood of Jammu, though very well articulated, will remain a myth. It will not turn into reality. To turn into reality, these challenges, they have to be taken as an opportunity. And unless these opportunities are turned in our own advantage, nothing much is going to happen. Though I may be sounding slightly pessimistic, but the things are like that only. So how do we turn this pessimism to optimism? Is how do we change these challenges into opportunities? That's what I thought I'll convey my points. And I don't know how far do you agree with me, sir? But these are the certain things which I feel that it should be basically dwelled upon, and due thought should be given by our leaders who are sitting in.
Thank you, Colonel Malhotra. You've given a very wonderful insight.
Please like and subscribe.